Hi, guys. Um, I have been just out for the count. As you may or may not know, if you've been watching, listening to your news or weather, out here where I'm at in Northern California, um, near San Francisco, we have just had so much rain and hail and coming in and showers going, very typically spring. But boy, has it just, my energy I have just been asleep, so my body's trying to heal from surgery, uh, and I've had complications, so my body's like behind a little bit, and I've got a lot of physical pain. But I've been wanting to come on and at least put a dent in some of the readings that I've listed that I will be doing. It's a way when I put that in the community area for me to keep track of the ones that I really want to read that I'm going to be doing. And a way for you to see as well what I'm going to be bringing. It might take me a little longer than I wanted to, but those are my intentions, and I'll do the best I can with them. Today, I wanted to look at, excuse me, Angela Chao's death again. It just is weird. Um, and a little, it just leaves me with a lot of questions. And I think a lot of people, pardon the wound vac if you're hearing that in the background, you may or may not. But I wanted to look at it very succinctly, which is not something I had done because, firstly, when I do readings on a subject, sometimes it can take me a number of readings. Like I feel like I kind of get like blocks of information, downloads, if you will, of information. Like, okay, she's very stressed. She had all this stuff going on. And then I understand that factor because I didn't know anything other than that she's, you know, Elaine's sister and Mitch's um, sister in law. But the one thing I can tell you that I did pick up, which was so interesting, was, excuse me, some of the, let me just put my little banner on just to let you guys know, if you can make a donation, it really does help me to keep up with this, because some people think that we make some kind of big money off of YouTube. Only if you're a huge channel. Little channel like mine is lucky to make probably 5 cents on a commercial if you watch it. So I just want to put that out there. I had some smarty pants people coming on. Trolls, everybody gets them that has a channel. There we go. So that's good enough. All right. Now, back to Angela. So, what I saw collectively over doing readings on her has been that she was under a tremendous amount of stress. Tremendous amount of stress. It looked to me like there may have been some issues going on in the marriage. Um, and I think that finance and business was tied in somehow, some way. But because of the um, close connection that the family business has to the Chinese government and military, making weapons and tanks, metal based vehicles, I think, whatever. Anyway, for the Chinese government, it's like, that's like saying the Russian government. It's kind of like, what? So it automatically puts up my antenna. But I didn't get, or rather, what I did get initially when I asked, was this an accident or something else, was I kind of got the hesitant no, which is what usually the two of Pentacles is. If you get that in a yes no reading, it's kind of a hesitant no. Um, which means you're going to have to look into it again. So I got more that she was under a tremendous amount of stress and that there was an issue, I think, with some kind of agreement business-wise that they were involved in, her and her husband, because he also has businesses that, well, he's a financier, so he has a lot that's been caught up with in connection to China, although due to certain things, he's put off, from what I understand, investing more into it for, I think certain legal reasons. It gets complicated, and I don't, I get the basic gist of it, but I'm not sure that whether or not there is something, if let's just say connected, let's say through their connection to the Chinese military or some other person that they deal with. But let's just ask point blank now, is Angela's passing a criminal matter? In other words, it wouldn't be an accident, it wouldn't be a suicide, it would be a homicide. So here's what I just think at this point. That could change once I do these cards. But at the moment, from what I've been getting, it looks like she was super stressed out. She may have taken this upon herself, and her family's too embarrassed by her taking her own life, not wanting to be caught up in it anymore. That is really what I tended to come away with getting. All that stuff about like the hermit with her and her family that's keeping things very close to the chest. And, I think also if she were to have, and it sounds like she did because I found out a bit more information, was that she actually backed her vehicle into this pond on property. The ranch belongs to, I believe, in connection to her and her husband, from what I understood. And there's been a very, I think, deliberate lack of information that has been also put out that's confusing in some states, not some states, but in some cases flat out wrong. Some Chinese news has put out that she got hit by a truck, and none of that's true. So, it's just not right. Not right. So I'm going to just straight up ask, and I'm going to ask, my guides to help me get this clear, the Holy Spirit to come through for me, help me to understand. Is Angela Chao's backing of her vehicle into this pond a criminal matter? Yes or no? I need a yes or no card, a clarity. Was her passing a criminal matter, homicide? Is Angela Chao's passing? This is I have to lay on my sides. This is really funky to try and shuffle cards, lay with my hip up and film. Hard to do. But I've missed doing it for you guys, and I've been asleep for the last 4 days pretty much. Crazy. All right. It's Angela Chow's passing. And I also want to say this, that I did a reading for her, like, I don't know, like I've said, 2 years ago. And my attitude was very different then. I wouldn't give the same, as you can see, the same kind of reading as I've grown as a reader. At that time, also, they were just uh, extending Trump's criminality and corruption. So I wasn't too happy with them, and it wasn't the nicest, kindest that it could have been. Um, I wouldn't take the same road now because I've changed a bit myself. I'm grown and changed. And despite the corruption, despite all this, she's a human being, and she had a child, and I, I just, I think it's sad, and I think the truth should be known. And I do see her being under tremendous, like, pulled in different directions, and trying to appease everyone. And at the end of the day, I don't think being able to do that. But let's just see. So we are looking for a yes or a no. Please come through for me. Very clear, the truth, yes or no. Was Angela Chow's passing a criminal matter? Did someone do this to her? What do we need to know? Was her passing, yes or no, a criminal homicidal case? I get the 10 of Cups. And to me, this is the family card, and the family looking perfect. Okay, this could be potentially a yes. Let me just pull the next card. And, well, look at this, walking away from family. Walking away from the emotional connection and responsibility of family, immediate and extended. This to me looks like it's her choice. It makes me feel like there could be corrupt issues at hand at why she decided to leave. I always get this 8 of Cups for her. And it's abandonment. It's neglect. It's walking away from responsibilities and they're cups. They're both cups pages. So we're talking about something that affected her on a very powerful emotional level, and the feeling of the one that's carrying the family, the one that there's a lot of responsibility here, and keeping the family looking perfect. That over the top 10 of 10 of Cups where just everything's peachy, but everything was not. And if you notice in the 8 of Cups, there's water in that background, with down, that person is walking around, not unlike the pond, not unlike the water area on the ranch where she backed in. Okay. We're getting the Hierophant, usually to do with marriage, conservative ideologies, old-fashioned, and the Chariot. I don't know. This could be the marriage and moving, but also could be maybe she felt hemmed in by the old fashioned way of doing things, that there's a certain way that you do them, and that if you don't do it this way, then you ruffle everyone's feathers. And I just think it was too much stress on her to have all this responsibility. And again, there could be something also there going on with the marriage where someone's moving forward. But really, what I get from this is I'm getting a sense of she wants to do something different out, that's from that wasn't perhaps within coloring within the lines, so to speak. Do something more maverick like without Chariot. And I'm feeling like she was coming up against the rules and regulations of, well, you can't do it that way. This, and it is shipping also. So if I think of the Chariot card here too, it does give me a strong feel of movement, of the shipping aspect. And I just believe, again, with the Hierophant, an old way of doing things was in place. And I think connected to the family business. I get that again and again. It's like we're getting bits and pieces of clues that kind of make the picture come into a little tighter focus. She had so much worry with this 9 of Swords again going on. I think we got this for her before as well. So I read in pairs and death. I think she just wanted it to stop. And I do believe she was having trouble with getting enough rest, and a sleep deprived mind. You can start hallucinating, you can start having psychological issues. I just feel like we're having anxiety. I feel like this is her. That just makes me sad. You know, she has to live the life she came here to do. And I know she shouldn't be doing stuff that's corrupt, whatever. But I just, as a human being, it just makes me sad for her, because I really feel like she had a ton of the responsibility of, do it this way. You're going to be the one to do it, and all the responsibility is yours, but you can't call the shots, so to speak. And that is what I get with that Chariot and the Hierophant, especially, of like, you can't do it the way you want to do it. You're going to have to do it the way it's been done and what is acceptable in the old school way, despite the fact that that's maybe not really taking care of any issue. And here I'm shown all stressed out, not sleeping well. Um, there's a like mental fog, and there's an end. And she just, to me, was wanting it to end. Perhaps also given, as I've said before, uh, she was 50. There could have been some changes going on biologically to top it all to top it all off. I do feel that. So I'm not getting the cards that I should get were someone to, you know, do this to her. What I am getting over and over again is that she chose this. It was just too much. And again, the first 2 cards, even though I was asking yes or no, I feel like it was just going to show me it's her walking away from too much responsibility for others in the family and for doing things a certain way and so on and so forth, you know. I feel that she didn't feel like she could run the business once again the way that she was so inclined without everyone else telling her what she should be doing. It must have been maddening. And I just see her stressed out. I'm not getting the kind of violent cards that I would get if there was an attack, so on and so forth. But I am getting the kind of cards of somebody that is so stressed out they just want to end it. And that's what these cards keep showing, somebody that's decided to walk away. And I don't think that her family want that to be known. I think they would prefer to leave it at an accident. I really do. I think there's a bit of, because then they would have to admit that there's something wrong with the 10 of Cups family picture. Yes, there is something wrong with it. It was just too much for her at the end of the day. Too much stress, too much responsibility, and not enough, I think, freedom to do the business the way that she knew it would actually be best. And I think that had to be very frustrating. Tremendous amount of frustration with her and wanting to walk away, just to have quiet, just to have an end, not to have all this responsibility. Again, this is about self-control, self-mastery, and not just reacting to things. But look what we get, the 10 of Swords. She's overwhelmed. I think she really tried, but I think it just wore her out. And I think the 10 of Swords shows someone that has lost their ability to not self-harm. To be honest, especially with the Strength card. The Strength card is someone that is self-regulating, okay? They're not allowing their emotions and their stress to get the best of them. They're controlling the lion, that raw energy. But still, she's getting the 10 of Swords. So all these mental stressors coming in, I feel, just drained her fortitude, her strength, her ability to make a different decision, to handle the stress differently and not self-harm. We do get the 5 of Swords, and we're getting the Queen of Wands. To me, this is Elaine, because she's the fire card, you know? She's the Queen of Wands. And I see connected with that, there's some bullying that may have gone on. I don't know whether she was having words with her family. It wouldn't surprise me about it. And it would look like there's some kind of tension there. So I'm not quite sure what that is about, but I get a kind of a bullying, passive-aggressive energy around a female of a fire sign. And I don't believe that that is Angela. I think Angela is probably either a water sign or an earth sign. And if you looked at her chart, I bet you would find a lot of earth and water. Here, this is a different dynamic. And this is definitely a card of someone that's just had someone else not being the most understanding. Maybe she was having issues, particularly with one of her sisters, I think maybe being Elaine, in how she should go about the business, doing certain things. We get the Eight of Wands. This is a picking up of energy. And we get the High Priestess. This is a growing secrecy. This is more effort to try and keep details kind of unplugged, to keep them from coming out. And they have definitely had a lot of influence over the information that has come out. Once again, I think the family would rather this look like just an accident rather than her like walking away from the family business and saying, I can't do this anymore. This is draining me, draining my life force. And it literally was with that 10 of Swords. It's like her chi, her basic energy here, with the lack of sleep, the stress, with that 9 of Swords and then that 10 of Swords, it just flattened her. And I firmly believe that if somebody, with the cards that she gets and the fact that I find out that she had to drive apparently over some kind of object or maybe part of the pond that would try to keep people from going in or something. You know what I'm saying? There was some kind of an object that she had to back over, apparently, to go into the water. And it said that her car was in, like, I think 15 feet of water. And this dam, it was not was it a dam? Well, it's kind of dammed up this because it's a stream. Miller's Creek, I think is the name of it. And there's 30 feet, as far as I know, of depth of the pond. Now, it's in some areas, well, that's the creek. There was some ponds too. This is where it gets confusing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether it was the creek or another pond that's up closer to the ranch. The fact is, she backed over something in an agitated manner, and apparently it is on videotape. They have it on their closed circuit camera stuff from the ranch. They've got it on, that she is seen getting into her car, backing it into this pond. And apparently there's some agitation with it. There's like, she seems worked up. It's not done apparently slowly, this kind of thing. She's meant to do it. So I think they're just trying to keep the information down. And I think these are two of the other sisters potentially there. Again, that Queen of Cups keeps popping up, and there's a Queen of Swords, and we already got the Queen of Wands. I feel like the other sisters are trying to handle some things to do with her case and from information from getting out. And here we have the King of Swords. And we have the Lovers. This could be some kind of partnership or an agreement. Could be a relationship. I don't know. Let me just see here. We get the Five of Pentacles. That's not good. If it's a business partnership, it is in decline. It's not in healthy shape. If it's a relationship, it's not in good shape. It is on its way out. It is a struggle. It's feeling like you're on the outside looking in. And look at that, the Seven of Wands. There's just, everything's a struggle. There's so many challenges. So I think she was having issues. Issues, I think, within choices with business, possibly her marriage. But I think she was, at the end of the day, I believe, not feeling well, feeling drained, I think a bit angry and tired, overwhelmed, like she's got with that Seven of Wands, all these challenges popping up one after the other. And it's just, she's just exhausted. That I do get. So I'm not getting a real criminal. I mean, it's not to say that there weren't perhaps some things that weren't as they should be going on, but I don't think that her backing into the pond was someone else's doing. I believe that she did that herself. I think she was so just fed up, honest to goodness. I get that again and again with her. Now I'm going to try this deck, the Clarity deck, and just see what I get. So did Angela decide to leave? Because that's pretty much what the cards we got have shown us. So was it Angela's choice to leave this life behind? Let's put it like that. Let's get some clarification on Angela Chao's passing. Bullheaded. Well, that certainly makes sense. Stubborn, narrow-minded, difficult to sway. Well, that reminds me of the Hierophant. I think she was dealing with, again, people that didn't want to do business in a more innovative way. And we have heart to heart, deep conversations, intimate discussions, blunt and honest. I think she was frustrated by conversations that she was having with family members and business people. I think she tried here. And she may have even tried being blunt and honest and a heart to heart and an honest with her. And they may have just been absolute. I feel like she got no love there, so to speak. I feel like it was more like, suck it up, buttercup, and just do it. And I think she was just done. I don't think they appreciated that she didn't feel like she could continue to do that. So I feel like she's probably somewhat bullheaded herself. But what I get from that reading was that sense of stubbornness coming off of the Hierophant. And I think that that evening she may have been trying to let people know that she was overwhelmed. And I don't think she was getting the understanding that she needed. And I think in frustration, her response was to back her vehicle into the water and just, I think, end it. Very sad. So I'm getting a card of suspicious, questionable motives, sketchy behavior. And I'm, weirdly enough, I don't know if this one really even fits, getting a card of clean eats, modifying diet, healthy lifestyle choices, nurturing the body. I'm okay. I did get a hit right there. Again, when I got that nine of swords, which I just keep getting for her, where she's not getting enough sleep, there's a lot of nervous energy and anxiety. I feel like she just wasn't taking care of herself. And I think that she thought that somebody's behavior was suspicious or questionable or sketchy. It's the only thing I can make any sense out of with that. But let's just continue on. We have delays, losing momentum. There's hesitation. And I just feel like this is in the area of friendships, unreciprocated affections. There is some kind of feeling with her relationship with her husband that doesn't feel very warm. It doesn't feel very understanding. And maybe that's who she was trying to also talk with. I don't know. I just feel like she didn't get any help there. It's saying everything is not as it seems, sugar coated. And again, that's the thing with the family. That nine of cups, we're the perfect family. We do things, we're so successful. We have this successful business, etc., etc. Altering appearances. And then we get her in a committed relationship here, or off the market, inaccessible. This to me is just saying, once again, the family doesn't want what really happened to come out. They want to sugarcoat this. It's just an accident. But I think there was something in the family business that was stressing her out. She didn't feel like she had the support she needed, and yet she had all the responsibility. So I feel like there's self-doubt here. It shows questioning self-worth, and there's gossip, being influenced with sipping tea. So, I just think she was kind of in the deep end alone. Sorry for that kind of reference, but it seems to fit. So I'm just going to leave that there, and I'll get back to you guys later. Hope that makes some sense. And I hope to make some more recordings of readings so that now that I'm somewhat awake, that I can kind of catch up. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Please give it a thumbs up if you would. And feel free to leave your comments below. But once again, if you're going to try and be rude or leave a bunch of your cards mean this, that, and the other, it will be removed. I don't play that game. I don't have time for that business. You can share your own, but if you want to bring up some other reader, some other stuff, don't. All right, you guys. I'll see you later. Take care.